So it's at one of those get-togethers that I actually meet, I think my first actual girlfriend, I would say. And so this person took me to my very first concert, and my very first concert was a Blink 182 slash My Chemical Romance and Matt and Zim, I think it is. And it was amazing. Like the freaking drummer dude was just like da 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 on the crane that was hovering over the crowd. And at the time, I didn't even know what weed was. So all these puffy clouds everywhere. I was just like, "What's that smell?" I had no idea. But it was because of her and her family that I got like incredibly into trying to learn every band. I wanted to be more a part of understanding who that person was, which is what I've done with anyone that I've probably tried to be with. And so essentially, I dove into every type of band I could think of. A lot of recommendations because she was friends with the BNN friend who also loved a lot of bands, and they would go to Warp Tour, and they had another friend who would do underground things. And I went to my first underground, and they performed screaming, and that was my first mosh pit. Which I don't think I was in that mosh pit. I think I just watched it. My first actual mosh pit that I joined was in a rave, and I don't know if it's my thing. I think it was cool to just kind of test out, but I got over it very quickly. People were just a little too much for me in that particular scenario. And and so my favorite band out of all of them was, and there's a lot different songs I like probably more than others, but the most reoccurring was A Day to Remember. That band was awesome, and I play their songs a lot. And but one thing I realized is that the person that I was talking to, in a relationship with, she had this sister who I think a lot of people thought was very attractive, and I'd hate to say now in a manner where probably more attractive, but at the time the thought processing for a lot of people was that yeah, she was more attractive. And remember, the beauty's in the beholder of the eye, and the way that you manage the heart, because there can always be someone more attractive, but you can be more in love with someone. And obviously I wasn't more in love. I was still inclined in a young mindset of probably more lust in what other people had or what could be had. And I still think loved in that version of my age and appreciated. But I definitely was still talking to like my guy friends, like, oh yeah, like her sister's so hot, or this or that. And that was wrong, because what I did was just fester seeds in my own mind that maybe I could get better, or maybe that this person isn't good enough. And that's never the case. And that's wrong. If you're in those thought processes, you probably shouldn't have been in that relationship in the first place, because you're really dragging on who belongs to someone else.